You're also involved in a mental health organisation called Shine. What's happening there?
So what I do is I'm on the youth panel of one of Shine's project, which is called See Change. See Change's whole what you call it thing is to reduce stigma around mental health issues, by starting conversations around mental health. So I would have got involved kind of last year, or 2013. I would have got involved as an ambassador talk about mental health, because with like everybody has some story of mental health, so like it would have been a case of I wanted to be able to like articulate my story as regards like, you know, it's impossible to go through a cancer treatment. Like, I mean, I lost friends to cancer when I was there. I have the grief of losing the kidney. There's an awful lot of issues there. So there would have been, it was my way of kind of being able to almost learn how to articulate it and go out and talk to people, having come through my own mental health issues, that I could talk to people and say, look, you know, yes, the WHO states that 1 in 4 people have mental health issues, but in reality 4 in 4 people have mental health issues, because you don't go through your entire life without a bad day, whether it's stressing out over an exam, whether it's a bad breakup, no matter what it is. And I suppose like then I would have got more heavily involved with them, and eventually then kind of the end of last year I applied and I got onto their youth panel, which is their youth advisory committee. So basically what we do is we ensure that that See Change are kind of keeping it youth orientated, because like it's very hard if you're not youth to keep something youth orientated, because I know even my stage now, I have two younger brothers and a younger sister, and I have no idea, like I can't keep up with, you know, what my sister is a teenage girl, like I can't keep up with what their slang and their you know their social norms. I can't keep up with it.
I'd like to think I could though, but
no, I don't even pretend that I could.
That's very interesting, because I've heard a lot of people talk about bullying and stuff, and you know, adults from anti-bullying campaigns saying, you know, this and that and the other thing, and like we've had people on the station like that. But I did the show, and a few weeks ago I got a girl on, and she spoke, a girl, she was 18 years old, and she spoke about being bullied, and the response was amazing, because I think the fact that young people talk about young people's issues, it makes it really relatable, and it kind of makes it I suppose makes it more kind of, I suppose, relevant to them or whatever, so that makes a bigger impact. Is that what kind of Shine are trying to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, See Change is a project of Shine, so it's like they're a separate entity, but they still are part of Shine, if you get me. So, like, I mean, for example, I gave a talk there in UCC during UCC's Mental Health Week on the realities of mental health and my own experience of mental health and how I got to talk about it, and it was very well received. But I mean, because I was just, you know, I suppose I'm a person their age who's coming in and saying, look, this is what happened with me, this is how I dealt with it, whereas, you know, if somebody in their 60s had come in and been like, well, this is what happens and this is what happens, or this is what like, as valuable as that person is to be, and as great as that they're sharing their story, like a 22-year-old, like I'm 22, a 22-year-old male is going to relate more to me than they will to a 60-year-old male.
Yeah.
Because I'm under the same pressures that they're under, you know, like we're all trying to get, you know, when we're all the same age, we all effectively are trying to get the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like whether it's college degrees, trying to get a girlfriend, trying to get a boyfriend, as the case may be, trying to, you know, figure out what you're doing with your life, and then to have me coming in and being like, well, you know, it's not uncommon for somebody our age to experience some form of mental health issue, and be like, you know, it is, you can get through it, you know. Like, I suppose what kind of spoke to me is, like, I would have had a couple of friends commit suicide over the last couple of years, and like it was, and there's always that thing of, oh, if they'd only talked. So that's kind of what we do with what I like to think we do with See Change is that we might, by going out and giving a talk, we might encourage somebody else to open up who mightn't have opened up otherwise.
Yeah. Is there somewhere people can find See Change online?
Yeah, just go on to seechange.ie. Our main campaign now for the year is Green Ribbon. It's in May. So what we'll be doing is, effectively, the idea is it's going to end up like October with breast cancer awareness, where everybody would be like, oh, it's May, it's Green Ribbon Month, it's Mental Health Month.
Yeah.
So what we'd be doing is we'd be giving out free ribbons. They're just a green ribbon. And the idea being that somebody will see it and they'll ask what it's about, and you'll start a conversation about mental health. Because, oh, it's a green ribbon from Sea Change. What does Sea Change? Sea Change do this. And then suddenly you get talking about mental health. Because unfortunately, Irish society is highly stigmatised towards mental health. Not as bad as it was 10 years, even 5 years ago, but it's still highly stigmatised.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Really good idea. We spoke earlier, you said when you were 6.5 years old, you were 2 stone, and you were very sick. Fast forward to 2014, you're an ultra runner.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So basically what happened was a couple of years ago there was, well, it's still going, but it was launched. There's a 10 miler in Cove called the Great Island 10. It's actually on in 3 weeks' time, on April 13th, but it was kind of like, I said, you know what, I'll give this a shot. Thinking I was quite fit, I said I'd give this a shot, and never having run more than about 4 miles in my entire life, kind of thinking like, you know, I can play footy on the AstroTurf with the lads, I can run 10 miles kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so I said I'd give it a shot. I was grand until about mile 6, I suppose.
Right.
And then I kind of realised, like, I have absolutely no training done for this at all. It absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate that there was a Navy diver there, and he saw that I was struggling, and he effectively dragged me the last 3 and a bit miles. Like, honestly, I'd probably still be out there if it wasn't for him. You know, I'd probably still be out there if it wasn't for him. And then kind of I said, sure. I fell in with a friend of mine. Well, I became friends with him, and he's also a cancer survivor, and he does a lot of running and ultra. He had been doing ultra marathons before I began running. So we kind of fell in. We started running it a couple of times a week over the summer. We just kept building it up, and then the next. I said I'd give a half marathon a shot, and I got through that. I didn't cruise through it. I far from cruise through it. I think I kind of assumed, like, you know, I do 10 miles, so I can give 13. 13 miles won't be that much difficult. But 3 miles is a long distance. So then I got through that, and I said I'd do a full marathon. I could do that. I said I'd do a 40 miler, just give it a shot. Then I said I'd do a 50 miler. Then I said I could do that. I've done a couple of them, so I said I'd give it a 60 miler shot. And sure, I suppose, I think there was a quote given to me, and I can't remember who said it, so I'm not going to claim I know who said it, but as long as you fuel and hydrate the human body properly, there's no limits to what it can do.
Yeah.
So I suppose, like, and it's almost kind of my way, well, initially when I started running ultras, it was kind of my way of giving 2 fingers to cancer and being like, yeah, you try, you know, look, we went through what we went through, but I'm here, I won.
Yeah. I'm not sure you want to reveal it tonight, but the next, like, after reaching the 60 miles, or there's a new target, is there?
There is, but I don't know if I'm working on the feasibility of it. There's a run in Kerry called the Kerry Way Ultra. It's 124 miles, so it's 200 kilometres. It's a single stage race. So you have 40 hours to run to run it. So I'm working on the feasibility of it with a friend of mine, not the same friend who I've been training with, but another friend who's also interested in running it. Haven't told the parents yet, which is going to be interesting. Because, you know, parents worry about their kids, especially when they have one kidney and go through what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, with the chemo, I've got what's called cardiotoxicity. So I had damage to the heart muscle from the chemotherapy.
Okay.
Now, if the race director is listening to this, he'll probably just be like, no, you're not entering, good luck. But it's almost like, you know, I suppose if I'm not sure that I'm going to do it. I'm working the feasibility of it out. I'd love for it to happen, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Yeah,
we'll see, and let us know if you are going to do it as well, because it's an incredible thing to take on. I love the name of your blog, Running for Sanity.
Yeah, I haven't actually posted on that in a while. I got bored of posting on it.
Yeah.
I suppose, like, for me, like, I suppose I came up with that blog when I suppose, like, I came up with the idea for the blog about 2.5 years ago, and I was on one website with it, and the website kept crashing and has since shut down. So what I did is I moved all the old blog posts over and I posted a couple of times. Excuse me. The idea is that, I suppose running is, for me, is a way of releasing stress. I don't drink and I don't smoke, so it's my way of decompressing, releasing stress, and dealing with whatever I need to work out in my head. So, and then the second part of it is that, I blog about mental health issues. So I can't remember who gave me the name for Running for Sanity. I didn't come up with it myself, but I can't remember who gave me the name of it. But if you're listening to it, credit to whoever you are, and you can text me, and I'll tweet to Joe, and he can put it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it was kind of my way of showing that, I suppose that people kind of had this image of me where I'd come through cancer and I was perfect. I was this A1 human. Nothing ever got down. And for a long time, I didn't feel like I should be telling people, well, actually, no, I'm not this perfect human. There's number one, there's no such thing as a perfect human. And number two, absolutely, I had a pretty crappy time of it. Yeah. So that it affected me, and it still affects me, that I had a pretty crappy time of it. But that I blog about a different aspect every week. Now that you're after saying it, I'm going to be put under pressure now to get back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it was kind of my way of, first of all, telling people, because at the time I didn't have the confidence to come out and tell people face to face that this is what I was going through, but I found it easier to type it. But then I've become a lot more open about it, and I suppose I kind of blog about whatever takes my fancy. The last a few of them are I think there's one about the greatness of Barry's tea. It's just something that popped into my head that I felt like blogging about.
It's pretty great.
It is pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
I know. I think the proudest I have it screenshotted on my laptop at home where Barry's tea started following me on Twitter, so I was pretty impressed about that.
Yeah, I think you've made it when Barry's tea following you.
Yeah, you've made it in Cork if Barry's tea are following you on Twitter.
Totally. Gavin, it's a remarkable story. Thanks a million for telling it tonight, and thanks for calling the studio.
Anytime. Thanks a lot.